Welcome to the April 10th, 2025 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission, Augusta Government Day. Will you stand with us and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Flag's right back there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a cool way to start our meetings, to remind everybody that we're all on the same side. You know, when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, we're all trying to get the work done, and sometimes we forget that they're not necessarily the bad guys because they're against you. So,
That's right.
sorry, Tom.
All right. Want to introduce the group up here. We've got staff, and we just have two commissioners today. Commissioner Hunthausen is away at another meeting. But Commissioner Payne and myself, Tom Rolfe, I'm chair of the commission this year. Jenny Chambers is Director of Public Works and Planning. Roger Baltz is our Chief Administrative Officer. Sheriff Leo Dutton. And Dan at Public Works.
That's just so.
All right, and we have some other county staff as well here. We're going to start with some reports, and we have the sheriff first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And when you talk, you're supposed to go over here so the Roger can make sure it's done right. Thank you, Roger. He has this all set up here. So, usually I have a good joke, but I have a hunting pro tip. So if you want to bag a big buck this year, here's what I suggest. Drop from full coverage down to liability. You're bound to see one. It'll be the best one you've ever seen. Anyway, so the sheriff's office has been busy. We've had some people retire, some people were hiring. We're right hip deep into the budget season, figuring out how much money we don't have. So one of the things I thought was interesting is that we looked at how much our total budget is. And it's about probably 17, 18 million. Of that, it's about 12 million for wages. So if then you put in all of your bills that you have to pay, all those kind of things, it doesn't leave us with a lot of elective spending. So when something comes up, like a big investigation or something like that, we really have to reach in and try to find money. People say, well, why don't you go out and get grants? Well, glory be, what an idea. We did get a direct appropriation from Senator Troy Downing. He ran that through the Congress when they finally got back to work. And we got 500,000. We asked for 300,000, or not 300. We asked for 3 million. So the Congressman Downing said, what do you need? I said, well, we need some equipment that hooks onto our radio system, so when we get into the outlying, I know I've talked to you about it before, hooks on there so it goes over satellite and it comes back down into the radio system. Because we get up here, I don't know how many times we've been up to Benchmark, and I think a tin can and a string would do us better than what we have. It's a beautiful place, and the nice part about Benchmark is your cell phone doesn't work. I mean, if you want to go there, that's what it's designed for. But in an emergency, when we have search and rescue or we have law enforcement issues, we do need to talk. Well, we have the capability now, or will have, of doing satellite. So he said, how much you need? Well, how much you got? Well, like 3 million the total. Well, I need 3 million. So anyway, called back and said, you got some, but you got a haircut. And I should have known that when he's referring to my haircut, it was quite a haircut, so we got $500,000. out of the 3, but other people in the state or other agencies got public safety equipment as well. So it's not here yet, but got a letter the other day going, congratulations, you gotta fill out another form. So if you wonder, are you the only ones that gotta fill out forms? No, the world turns on forms, I guess. So those are the, some of the the issues that we're having. Detention, we were at 154 this morning. Total capacity of that is about 164. And you never want to be full. The detention center is not like a hotel. Like, well, I've got 164 beds, I'll just put this here, here, and here. We have to classify people. We have to put the male, female, and that can be a challenge. So we have a special section that if the transitioning or special populations such as people who have committed crimes against children, we have to protect them. It's called the 8th Amendment. May draw out from your very being about when someone assaults a child, either physically or sexually. Well, people in the jail don't like it and they'll try to kill them. So I have to protect them because they'll sue me if the person isn't, and that's their right under the 8th Amendment. So that's those special areas that we have. Another one I think I've talked to you about is called Pod D. Pod D is not unique in the sense of us being first. I got the idea when I went down to a class called Planning for New Institutions, or PONY class, and Pod D is what some people don't like. I do. People that are in our detention facility are going to get out and they're going to be in your neighborhood. So Pod D allows them special privileges, that allows them, they can work out, they're not confined as much as they are in other cells. They actually can find a little place to get some sunshine, they have a microwave, they have coffee, and you're thinking, oh, Taj Mahal. Well, let me explain. These people have been on the wrong side of the law all their life. So if you take the standard approach, I'm going to throw you in, pump sunshine to you, and that will change your behavior. We've had that paradigm for 100 years, and it's not worked. We're overfilling our prisons and all of those kind of things. So what if you could psychologically teach someone, if they follow the rules with society, that by golly, they might get some reward. So it's not a big reward. How this works is they come in, they're on the high side. If they have had issues of violence, they're on the high security side. They can work in, behavioral assessments are done weekly. They can move into medium security, then they can move into low security, and then they can look over and they can see the people in Pod D. And why can't I be in there? Well, you can, if your behavior is such that allows you to go in there. So this is where I get the argument of, what are you doing? What are you doing with my money? So these people move in because they want that freedom, and they understand if they follow the rules in the detention center, that they can get into Pod D. So what it translates, they're going to get out. They're going to be in your community. But what they've learned while they were in my jail is if they followed the rules, they obeyed them, there was reward. And the same thing when they get out. When they follow the rules, they don't steal, they don't beat up somebody, they understand. We've worked at that psychologically without ever saying a word, and it does work. I've seen it work. So if you ever hear that I'm soft on crime, I don't think so. But having a 100-year system that wasn't working continue was wasting your money. We're using your money well. Those are things, that's a report on Pod D. It's a little different. It does work because when they get out, their recidivism rate goes down, committing other crimes. That's what I would report to you, that it's a little different approach, but it does work. There's other detention centers around Montana that are doing the same thing, the same results, taking a different approach. So, other things up here, you have a deputy that's assigned up here, Alicia Bragg. You probably met her, either at one of these meetings or because you speed, or maybe because you needed to call her and talk to her. She's very friendly. She went over and helped us in Augusta, or in Lincoln the other day, and they made her warrant arrest. Some guy had been trying to disappear, but he liked to show up in the wilderness. That is not out in the woods. There's a bar named Wilderness. So they found him. Funny story, then I'm done, about the wilderness. When I was on the tactical team or the SWAT team in 1991, the call came out for a man who had assaulted another guy and another woman and caused serious bodily injury. He was armed, and he was somehow chemically induced, and this is how the page came out. Man for felony assault, just came out of the wilderness and now going back or headed north out of Lincoln. So as we're putting together the plan and going after him, a point last seen, all those kind of things, we're thinking, okay, guy coming out of the wilderness, gonna be familiar with how you operate, you know, the savvy to hiding in the woods, all dressed, all that kind of stuff. And everybody was on a heightened sense of awareness because, you know, you go start fighting in the wilderness, it's a different deal because you move different, you have to slow down, and there's hiding spots everywhere. It's not like you can cordon off a block. So everybody had a tight gut, and they had made trying to get a perimeter around this guy was difficult. And standing there, I was on the medical team. I was a lead on what they call SEALs team, not the one you're thinking of, but a little different. A special advanced life support. I was a paramedic and also trained in the SWAT. Anyway, call comes in while the other teams had deployed. They see him, and the sheriff's right there, looks at me and goes, "Go get him right now." And when I was on the team, if the sheriff told me to do something, that was time to do it. Otherwise, I'd be collecting my pay. So we took off. We started. He was close, so we took off running, and we saw him, and we thought, you know, he's going to duck in behind a tree. He didn't. Thought there's something odd about this. Anyway, I was much better shape then, and we ran him down, got him at gunpoint, cuffed him up, and he had wool pants and moon boots on and no shirt. So apparently he didn't want us to know what he looked like, so he'd stripped down naked when he was in a bar, in the wilderness bar. So that's when they said he came out of the wilderness and took off. Well, he's been stealing people's clothes. Anyway, I've ever since asked, okay, when you say wilderness, what do you really mean? Is it the bar, or is it actually like out of Augusta, out of Lincoln, like where the trees are, instead of the bottles? So the point to you is always ask a little bit more definitive questions when somebody says something. That's my report, Mr. Chairman, unless you have something else that you would like to.
All right. Any questions for the sheriff? We do ask that when you ask a question, that you come up and speak here because we have to have everything on tape. So if you would do that, we would appreciate it.
Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, I'll return to my place at the table.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is our Public Works report. Jenny Chambers.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jenny Chambers, Public Works and Planning Department Director. Just a few updates for the group today on just general public works, and then we also have Carl and Dan here later on to give some of the bridge updates, at least for the Birdtail Bridge project moving forward. First off, just want to indicate that last month the road department did do some work on Bob Thomas Road. They brought in some new material into some of the soft spots. We took out the rancher's fence on the side and moved it back a little bit. That work's been reseeded. And we have got no complaints and basically positive feedback based upon that work. It's a road that we don't typically maintain at the level that we try to maintain it this year, and will continue over the summer. It was just to help support the traffic because of the MDT's closure on Highway 21. So it is not the primary detour of that bridge closure for the MDT projects, but we knew that the local traffic would increase on that road, and so we wanted to make sure it was safer for those of you that needed to use it. We also graded Camp Walker. It ties into Bob Thomas, so that work was also graded. We also graded Warden Road. We also graded Smith Creek, which is up towards Goose Creek, is that how you pronounce that? Goose Creek. And then we also graded Bear Creek in support of and preparation of the horn hunt coming up in May. That's the road that's most utilized for that area. In addition, starting April 20th, we're gonna have a drill rigs up here to bore the road for the Augusta Clemens Bridge. So that bridge will be closed. There'll be a drill rig on the road starting April 20th and the 21st. So there will be road closure on that location for that boring to take place. That's helping us get the design work completed. Then they're going to be moving over to Birdtail Bridge later in the week to also get boring and design work done. But because we have a detour on Birdtail Bridge right now, the road will be closed for the regular traffic, but they can use the detour if need be on Birdtail for the later part of that week. So it does impact a few of you I know that are here, so just make a note that the bridge and roads will be closed the afternoon of the 20th and the 21st of April. Some future projects coming up this summer for the Augusta area is that we are planning to provide magnesium chloride 6 miles on the upper portion of Sun Canyon Road, so we're working on procurement for that now. Magnesium chloride is a dust suppression, but it also is a road stabilization material, so if we add mag, it helps keep the material and binds it together. That allows that gravel to stay in place a little bit longer. So 6 miles this summer for Sun Canyon. And then in addition, we're gonna add 6 miles of gravel on Benchmark towards the end of the pavement, up about 6 miles. We are procuring also for a gravel load and haul to get the material moved from our low Neal pit up to that material to get it laid. We own the gravel already, we just need a contractor to help us with some of the load and hauling for that particular area. So that'll be also coming up this summer, sometime to get some more material on that road. A few and just other minor updates. I think in the past we've talked a little bit, we deployed a citizen portal in the Public Works Road Department for any reports on county infrastructure. And so this citizen portal is available for you to there's a QR code you can click, but there's also a link to a website. If you see something in the Augusta area, like a damaged guardrail because somebody ran into it, sign down, pothole on the road, you can use this portal to report exact location of where that is, and then we get it automatically in Helena, and it's a way for us to track them internally. It also allows you to see, hey, my neighbor already reported that, I don't need to report it, they've already got awareness of that. And then we're using this to track also any responses back on what we did or what the action is based upon that response. Doesn't preclude you from making phone calls, you can still call us, you can still report that information or talk to us directly. It's just another avenue for you to provide those reports as needed. So please feel free to use this, or feel free to contact myself or any of the public works staff if you just want to have a quick call. We'll probably upload the information in this portal for you just so we have a way to track it, but definitely that's available for you. And then the last thing is just at 1 o'clock, and Commissioner Rolfe will be here for that as well, is the solid waste board meeting, the Augusta Solid Waste Board meeting for your solid waste transfer site. So if you're interested in solid waste, just come to the meeting at 1 o'clock. There's also a vacancy on that solid waste board right now. So there is the opportunity for folks to apply if you're interested in serving on that board for your area. So that's what I have today, Commissioners.
All right. Any questions for Jenny? Any questions for Jenny? Wonderful.
Are you working in any other part of the county, It seems like, this sounds like you're gonna have everybody in here. Yes, sir.
There we go.
Hi, my name's Tom with Elk Creek. I think we need some better signage on the DOT's part. It's poor signage and just, there's a lot of traffic that doesn't need to be going there. A lot of people think it's a detour, 100 miles an hour, a lot of, somebody's gonna get hurt. I mean, local people can drive, I don't care, but it's just so fast. DOT is, people don't know where to go.
Commissioners, Tom, yeah, when the project first started, we were getting, a lot more traffic. I mean, we had our equipment operator up here calling us and telling us saying, hey, you should see the people that are using Bob Thomas's road. And so we actually, Kevin Horn and a couple others, Ed Tinker came up here and looked at the signage. We did coordinate with MDT early on and asked them to add additional signs for the detour. We can certainly look at that stuff again. But there's also the message out there on the Chamber's website. The Chamber is recommending some of the traffic go on at Bob Thomas Road as well. So that is not the primary detour. So it just depends upon kind of where the communication comes and where people that are, coming into Augusta or where they're traveling, the neighbors saying, hey, just use this road, it's quicker, or go this other direction. So we will certainly coordinate with MDT and have them continue to watch it with their project management. If there is the ability to add additional signs, but again, if people know there's those cut across roads, even if there's a sign posted, they might take it on those areas. We did have a lot of complaints on Emerald Lane as well, where people were speeding and going down that road. We also had construction traffic, so the actual contractors' construction traffic. And so we did address that right away, that the contractor doing the work on the bridge should not be speeding, should not be using the county roads. That is not the primary detour for the construction workers. So we're doing what we can when we hear something. We'll certainly follow up with MDT based upon your concern and see if something can change. We've got, another month and they go all the way through June, so the project's gonna continue for another couple months, so it is important.
Would it help regarding the speed control if some of Sheriff Dutton's, Officer Bragg could maybe, be out there occasionally, and I know she's got a lot of territory, but speeding is speeding, and you could bring some money into the county, right?
Alex, don't go there, please.
Even just the sight of Officer Bragg in that car might slow people down.
I will certainly relay it.
Thank you.
Please remember that when it comes budget time.
All right. Any other questions for Public Works? We will be talking a little bit about the other project. Yeah, oh, yes, go ahead.
I have some curiosity.
Would you, for the record, would
Casey.
you give us the name? please?
Yeah, could be. On the Warden Road and also the road up toward the dump, there's a considerable amount of blow dirt. It's because of our latest wind along the county road. I was just curious, is that the responsibility of the landowner, or is there anything going to be done about it, or is it even a problem?
Commissioners, Kurt, I guess I need clarification of what you mean by blow dirt. Okay, and so maybe that might be helpful, and I can certainly follow up with him afterwards and take a look at the pictures and see what he's exactly referring to, and if it's something that's caused that the county can address, because the ditches and the right-of-way would be county responsibility. So we'll take a look at that, but if it's further than that, then it might be the landowner. So we'll certainly take a look at the pictures and figure out kind of any kind of assistance we can do within Public Works.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions for Public Works? All right, I don't see anybody here from Forest Service. Public Health. We've come up and introduce yourself to the crowd, if you would.
It's kind of a rowdy crowd, so just be careful.
Good morning. Yes, morning. Hello, Chair Rolfe and members of the commission. My name is Vivi Tyler. I'm the Behavioral Health Data Coordinator with Lewis and Clark Public Health.
Excuse me.
Yes.
talk more slowly?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hard of hearing,
No, I'll
so
try this again.
maybe other people are, just speak more slowly.
My
We've
brain
got
runs
plenty
like
of
this.
time.
All right, good morning. Hello, Chair Wolf and members of commission. My name is Vivi Tyler, the Behavioral Health Data Coordinator at Lewis and Clark Public Health. With me, I have Tony Lassow from Behavioral Health Center, who's a counselor who provides behavioral health services on the mobile clinic. And it's part of our Health Resources and Services Administration Grant, which our Strong Words Coalition is funded by. And the Strong Words Coalition is a group of professionals working in the substance use field. We focus on education, advocacy, and supporting individuals with substance use disorders within Lewis and Clark County. We do quite a bit of community events to help reduce stigma and bring awareness to substance use. We have an upcoming event out in Helena called the Rodney Street Block Party. It's scheduled for May 16th from 12 to 2, and that focuses on mental health and substance use and provides resources for the community. We hope to have additional events throughout the next year within other communities, including Augusta. Also with Lewis and Clark Public Health, it offers risk reduction items for free, including naloxone, deterrent deactivation kits, fentanyl test strips, and other items. And these items can be requested through the Lewis and Clark Public Health website, or you could contact myself or Jacob Miles. And then here to give a little bit of information about the Peerview Health Center Mobile Clinic, Tony's gonna be coming up, and she's gonna talk a little bit on the services that they offer. Thank you.
Hello, Chair Wolf and members of the commission. My name is Tony Lasso, and I'm the...
Could you talk up?
Yeah, my name is Tony Lasso. I'm the licensed addiction counselor at Peerview Health Center, and I help to organize and run the mobile health clinic for Peerview. So we were here in Augusta last year and did the Dodgepalooza, and then we're also offered a vaccination clinic with the public health office, and so we were here last summer. But we offer a wide range of services for the community, including risk reduction items such as Narcan, fentanyl test strips, gun locks, and Deterra. We provide behavioral health services that include in-person peer support and mental health services for those individuals struggling in our community. We provide rapid STI testing that's discreet and fast. We provide medical care as well, where we have a medical provider and a nurse that provide blood pressure checks, health screenings, care for common illnesses, minor injuries, and chronic medical conditions as well. So the van also has telehealth capabilities. So if we have a mental health provider and peer support on, but we have a medical concern, we can use our iPads to reach a provider. They can give an assessment and provide some sort of medical services needed for individuals, which is really neat. And we also work with public health to coordinate vaccinations. So the service is incredibly valuable to our vulnerable populations and to people that are struggling to access medical services. Because there's no appointments needed, there's no cost for the services, and everybody is welcome. So when the meeting is done, please feel free. We came up with the van. Please feel free to come out and see it and ask me any questions that you have. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I tend to be a little informal. How often does this van come to Augusta?
We've only been once, so it sounds as though we have another event that we're planning to come to again this summer. It hasn't been finalized yet, but you're also more than welcome to request us to come up as well.
And how would they go about requesting the van?
So we have on Public Health's website, you can look up there. You can also contact Peerview and they will put us in touch with myself, or you can contact Public Health, and they can also organize that as well.
Does the van visit other communities? I mean, you go to Lincoln and Craig and...
Yes, it does. So we go up to Lincoln, we go out to East Helena. It's for the whole Lewis and Clark County.
But it's not, I'm thinking about the bookmobile, which goes to certain places at certain times, and people can count on this service being there. And it seems to me that some of the people in Augusta, you know, if if I can kinda get my blood pressure checked, once a month, I want to. Could that be worked in somehow?
Yeah, that could be something that could be discussed with our medical director, right? Dr. Turner is the one that organizes the medical aspect of the mobile clinic. So I deal with more of like the peer support and the behavioral health aspect of it and like the risk reduction items. But in terms of like the medical aspect, that would be something we would have to talk to Dr. Turner about to do, for
And
sure.
I don't really feel like it's my job to talk to the doctor, but
No, for sure.
how would you get a hold of him? How would you express
So
this?
again, just having somebody get a hold of me and then I work through with Dr. Turner to arrange that.
Okay, and your contact information is on this sign-up sheet?
I will put it on there.
Oh, it hasn't got, aren't you glad I asked?
I think it's really important to remember that public health in Lewis and Clark County is more than just getting a shot or
Yeah.
somebody inspecting the public restaurants and whatnot for cleanliness.
Yeah.
And if you go on on the county website, take a look at what all is there. There's just a lot more than what the average person thinks about, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You bet.
we have a lot of great services to provide everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions for public health? They'll be here around to chat afterwards as well. All right. The next item on our business is a special resolution. Dan Karlin, if you would talk with us and tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Lewis and Clark County does desire to submit a Montana Endowment Program Grant, or MSEP, application to the Montana Department of Commerce. In March of 2026, the county
Could you
contracted.
please talk up a little bit?
I certainly will. Contracted with Great West Engineering to complete the PER, which is a preliminary engineering report, assist in writing the grant application, and guide the county through the process. And at this point, I'm gonna stop real quick and introduce Karl Yakowicz. He is our consultant with the project. And if you haven't received or picked up one of our handouts, maybe Karl can pass those out to the folks that don't have it.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
I thought he was sitting right there. You should maybe tell us who this guy is too. He's part of the county.
Okay.
All right, you ready to continue on here? What's that? The proposed MSEP project is to replace the load-limited Birdtail Road Flat Creek Bridge. The proposed structure is anticipated to be 24 feet wide with a span of 95 feet. The total project cost is estimated at this point to be $1,510,810. MSEP will contribute a maximum of $750,000 towards a bridge project, leaving the county match at approximately $745,810. And that math doesn't add up because we've already contributed that difference. As a requirement of the grant application, the county advertised a public hearing on May 28th and April 4th in the Helena Independent Record. Today is the date and time set for the public hearing to gather community feedback and consider the resolution to submit the MSEP grant application. Great West Engineering is here and available to answer specific questions. So at that point, I'll stop for that and allow that process to unfold, and then I have, once the hearing is complete, I have my recommendation to the board.
Okay. What questions do you have on this proposal? Any questions at all for the representative of Great West? You know, it's amazing to me that, I think we were talking earlier, I believe something I saw said that original bridge was built in 1901, something like that. If you can imagine, there were no automobiles. Everything that went across that bridge was somebody walking on a horse. It was pulled by a horse. It was pulled by an ox. And last, I hope this new bridge is going to last that long.
Absolutely.
All right. Any questions at all? All right. Go ahead.
All right, well, that was many fewer questions than I expected, so we'll move this along. Staff does recommend that the Board of County Commissioners adopt Resolution 2026-19 and authorize the chair to sign all applicable grant application documents. And I will add here that this application is due May 19th. We're well on our way, and I imagine the reason we didn't get many questions is because this has been a topic up here for about a year, a little more so actually. So hopefully things have been addressed up to that point. But again, I did forget one thing. I have multiple sample letters of support. We are severely lacking in letters of support for the project. So please find me after the meeting and I will distribute those if you would like one. We certainly would appreciate you signing and returning, but it's much more impactful if a person writes a personal letter for us to include in that. We use those quotes out of those letters to include in the application process. It gives us more detail on how these types of projects or this, if this bridge were to close permanently, how that would impact landowners, how it would impact the area, things of that nature. So anything that you can possibly write in support or just comment on this project, I have a whole pile of business cards for you to return those letters to me, and we'll get those included in the application. So again, that's due May 19th, and it takes us some time to get that compiled, so the sooner the better with those. I can also hand out additional letters if you have other neighbors or anyone that you would like to share those with. So that was my last bit there.
Dan, I recall when we were in here trying to explain to people how the Serpentine Bridge out there, and there was about 10 ranchers in here that were pretty fired up, and by God, those are the people we now need the letters of support from, and I don't think they're here today. They're probably out feeding cows and doing those rancher things. But you folks, as their neighbors, it would be a favor to them if you took a copy of these letters and said, hey neighbor, you were complaining about this bridge, we're gonna fix it, but they need your support. Because those are the people who will impact, and if they don't do it, you can't expect Dan to do everything.
Right. Very good. Any other questions? Is there yes, go ahead.
With Elk I agree with you, these ranchers should have been here. Because I was here in this meeting, they were mad. They wanted a bridge yesterday, not today. So Carol, you could give one of these to Joe Barrett, and he could,
Steve?
and just get it out to all of those guys. I mean, that's we're on this side, they're on the other side of the county, so it would be best with them guys to come to the next meeting, make sure they're here. I mean, there was 10 of them, they were mad, that's all stuff. None of them are here.
Well, I tell you, I really believe our Public Works Department has done a wonderful job of putting things together, getting us the temporary bridge, getting things done so that they aren't stranded on the far side of that bridge when the roads get bad. And
You ever get a day before?
people can get in, get their propane if they need it. They can haul their calves in and out. They can haul feed in and out because we have that temporary bridge that takes care of those heavy loads that we can't put across the old bridge right now. So, again, the Public Works Department's gone out of their way to do a heck of a good job on this. So, they need the support so they can get the funding. Most assuredly, we don't have an extra $1 million, $1.5 million just sitting around in our back pockets. So we need to get the extra funding through these state and federal funds that are available.
I've got another question for Dan. So, people don't like to spend a lot of time on this sort of thing. Can they send an email to you and use that in support of, so that might be make their life easier, they don't have to put a stamp on anything. They can just, you know, if they use a computer. So leave your email address, which is, okay.
Chairman
Alright.
Morrow, Commissioner Payne, yes, that's absolutely on here. An email is perfectly acceptable. We'll get those included as well.
All right, that's wonderful. Is there any public comment, any other comment from the commission? Do you have any?
No.
Is there any public comment on this proposed resolution to request this money? Is there any other public comment? There being none, I guess we're ready for a motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve under other business 8A, the resolution 2026-19 to authorize submission of Montana Coal Endowment Program Grant Application as presented by Mr. Dan Karlin.
Second, is there any further discussion from the commission?
I think we've pretty well discussed this.
Think we've done that? All right. Any further discussion from the commission? If not, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the resolution 2026-19 to authorize submission of the Montana Coal Endowment Program Grant Application, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 2-0.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I add something on the Bertel Bridge project? So to get to where we're at today, in order to submit the MSET grant application, we first had to apply for a planning grant, an MSET planning grant. It's $30,000 that we get from MSET. There was very limited planning grants awarded from the Department of Commerce this year. I think they rewarded 2 or 3 bridge projects, where in the past they've done a lot more. And Lewis and Clark County was one of the ones that were actually awarded that bridge planning grant that allows us the opportunity to then apply for this MSEP construction grant money for construction dollars. So I just wanted to thank Carl and Dan for the efforts they put in for that planning grant to get us to this next stage on this thing, and that we were, again, one of the few counties that were able and successful with that planning grant opportunity. So just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's important to note. Staff and the consultants that we hire have done a great job. So this is if you can imagine that there's people, there are opportunities from all over the state that are asking for these things, and we were just one of the very few that got that opportunity. All right. Any other comments? We're going to move on. We have. We're at the end of our regular business, and I want to mention our next meeting is May 8th, right here, and hope that we can have a good turnout as that time too. We always reserve time at the end of our meeting for people to bring up items that are under the purview of the county commission, but they are not on today's agenda. Do we have any public comment on new items? Any public comment? Is there any public comment? If not, we're adjourned, and be sure and get together with these staff folks